Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another great episode of Throwback Theater. I am Eric Lutz.
I'm Lee.
Lucas, yo.
And here's Chris.
Hey, Chris. How you feeling tonight?
Not bad.
Not bad? Yeah? And anyone here feeling bad?
Not yet.
Yeah.
All good.
The night is young. The night is
I
young and
will
we're
after
sober
we're
and
done
you're ready.
talking about all these movies.
So our movie tonight is Jungle to Jungle.
A classic.
Now that's with the number two
two,
in between
yes.
it.
Why is that?
I don't know, because when I was searching for this movie online to watch it, I had a real trouble finding it, because I wrote 2 first, and then I couldn't find it, and then I put the number in.
But why is there a number? It doesn't make sense, right? There's not 2 children. It's not a sequel.
But there's
think
2 jungles.
You're really overthinking this. Yeah, there are 2 jungles.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would watch the sequel.
Jungle to Jungle 2.
With even more jungles.
Third jungle to jungle to jungle. It just keeps going, keeps adding on.
Just put more numbers.
What was it? Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks, yeah.
We are live streaming this. I meant if you're listening to this now, you should check out our Facebook page because we are live streaming the recording of these podcasts, and you can check it out.
Yeah.
Lee is messing around with some of the sounds right now.
good.
It looks
So
it
this
looks
is
decent.
a Disney movie, right?
It is
Yeah.
a Disney movie.
So,
picked
I've
this
really been wanting to talk to you guys about this movie, because I have a lot to say, but it's not like really about the movie.
Okay.
So I picked this movie because I didn't remember much of it, but mostly because everyone seems to remember this movie. When we talk about this
Yeah.
podcast, we mentioned it on the first episode.
I watched this multiple times growing up. Many times.
When I talk about this show to people are always like, "Are you doing Jungle to Jungle?"
This is the first movie. Almost one of the first ones.
Yeah, people really want to see
Interesting.
Jungle to Jungle.
Tim Allen was really popular in the 90s.
I think that's what I kind of kept asking myself. I was like, why is this
What
movie?
is the draw?
Yeah, what is the draw to this movie? Why is this memorable? Because I remember I've seen it, but like there wasn't really a moment that stood out to me. And even now that I watched it again, there wasn't like a, I don't know. We'll get into it,
I
but
only remember him climbing the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
That's what my memory of this movie.
here's a weird thing about this movie is that this is apparently a remake of a French movie called Little Indian Big City.
Which is based on a book.
Oh.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
When I was a kid, I rented Little Indian Big City from Hollywood Video, and I remember
R.I.P.
R.I.P. I remember loving it, but I didn't know it was a French movie. It must have been dubbed or
Probably.
something because
Yeah.
I remember thinking as a kid, I'm like, oh, this is just like Jungle to Jungle, but it's like I think I like
this
it
movie
better.
ripped off Jungle to Jungle. What is this?
Tim Allen
So,
should call someone.
I even have Little Indian Big City on our list of movies. I didn't realize it
But
was
they were the same movie.
that it was the same movie.
Okay.
So yeah, let's get into it.
So it's a Walt Disney movie, which is I think the first one we're doing right now. First Disney one.
Yeah, it's a live action Disney movie
Yes.
Yeah.
with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Riskier than I think modern Disney movies.
All right,
Sure.
I want to point something out. There's a joke in this movie where he makes a joke about postal workers shooting people. Did you guys catch this?
Yeah,
Yes.
I
I
did.
He
mean,
says-
it's pre 9/11.
Oh, he says, "Oh, I was trying to kill the chief." He says,
Yeah,
"Oh, in this
moral.
culture, we don't kill the chief. Like only postal workers kill the chief." I was like, "Whoa!"
That was before it was a thing, though,
But they didn't do in Jumanji as well. They make a postal worker
because it was such
shooting
an
people
isolated
joke.
incident. Where like now you don't like happens to
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
too dark.
It was a thing in the 90s where like postal workers were like shooting things up, but it's the fact that they point that
I
out in a
agree.
children's Disney movie. They make a postal worker.
Well,
joke. It's kind of dark.
They also have
Then
a
again,
lot
this movie
of...
gets real dark. So.
This movie also has a lot of lines of just about... Because I think when Tim Allen gets to the jungle, which I guess like I'll skip real... Because the quote I thought was really funny, because the guy from the place in Venezuela that they go to just says, "Only a smart man knows what a woman wants, but not even God knows that," which I thought was just real clever.
This movie definitely had like a lot of quips like that, and I
Yes.
think there must have been this thing in the '90s, and I was trying to think of other examples that it's like they take everything to New York City, and then they just kind of poke fun at like uptight New Yorkers, and really just New York and American culture in general. Like there's like they get hot dogs from a hot dog venue, I can't say the word, a vendor, and he's like, oh, it tastes just like iguana
Gizzards.
guts.
Gizzards,
Yeah, my
yeah.
favorite food, and that was like a '90s thing, right? Where they just kind of like made fun of New York and like had all these little quips like, hot dogs are gross. Hey.
Should we try to explain what the movie is, basically?
Yeah, we should try.
Alright, no,
Hold on, I think this is totally formulaic. Like,
It is.
it's
very simple.
I want to say out the back, like, I think this movie kind of it holds up, but like it doesn't.
The
hold
first
my
change of location tells you it's the whole movie because it starts in the jungle and this kid is on like a canoe and then he climbs a mountain and he's just like and he's in his loincloth and then it just cuts to the stock
Smash
room
cut to stock room
of traders just
yelling at each other.
and buying money, and
Which
it's
is not
Tim
a thing
Allen.
anymore.
So it's the other
No,
jungle,
that-
you
Yeah,
know?
but I guess it also moved to the internet.
Yeah.
And because they were in the World Trade Center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they work in the World Trade Center in this movie.
And they're like, there's offices. Like, if these people were to still be in the offices in 9/11,
Well,
they'd be dead.
I was gonna save this for later, but yeah, they are dead. By the way,
Yeah.
these characters die on 9/11 years after this.
But not
Tim Allen. Tim Allen
Yeah.
moves to the jungle.
No, he's only there he's visiting.
Do they
He's
say
not-
that?
He says he's gonna stay for a while.
But
Yeah,
he never,
one
he never
bag.
cuts back
Yeah.
to it.
Also, when he goes back to the jungle, spoiler alerts, he goes back to the jungle.
Well, because
But he goes-
you knew what was going to happen from
Yeah,
the
he
beginning
needed
of this
to.
movie.
He goes back
he's
in
jungle
suspenders
too,
and a tie again.
Uh-huh.
Having already been there and knowing he's going to a jungle, he still shows up.
Right,
in,
I
like, a
wrote that in my
business
notes the
suit.
first time. I'm like, this guy's knowingly going to the jungle when he has on his full suit.
Even
It's
Martin
gotta be
Short,
hot.
who ends up coming with him, is dressed more
Martin Short in this
appropriately.
movie was
Yeah.
great.
He's
He
the
was
best
great.
part.
I,
It's really
I
funny.
actually
Yeah.
wrote Martin Short is great in this movie.
I actually barely even have notes for this movie. I like just wrote down I love Martin Short over and over and over again.
Well, because like, the premise of the movie is that Tim Allen is trying to get a divorce from his ex-wife that now lives in Venezuela or somewhere in South America.
With like a tribe.
Yeah,
Right.
she's like helping a tribe, and then when Tim Allen gets to the tribe, he learns that he has a 13-year-old,
Yeah, named Minisiku,
which
which
is
means
cat
Mitsubishi.
cat
piss.
piss. I thought that was great.
Yes, I also thought it was
And
great.
he was raised as like an indigenous person.
Yes.
A lot of this, I mean, I feel like the writer definitely saw Emerald Jungle or Emerald City.
Yeah,
the
Emerald
Bourne movie?
Jungle. Yeah.
I feel like,
Where he goes,
I mean,
that's a true story apparently.
really, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a remake, but the remake and the original probably took something from that. What's it called, the Emerald City?
Emerald Jungle, I think.
Emerald Jungle.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope, never.
It's
even
like
heard
it's
of
like a
that.
drama.
This guy loses his child at a small age, and then he's raised by like indigenous Bushmen
From
in South
okay.
America, and then he spends like 10 years looking for him, and finally like.
Oh, that sounds.
It has similarities.
Now, does this movie also have Tim Allen in it? Because I can get behind that.
Sadly, no.
What's the point of it?
I wish I would have written down more Tim Allen lines because this movie was just kind of his like.
Tim Allen is very Tim Allen in this
Yes,
movie. Like it's constantly
definitely.
like,
Yeah.
Oh, just that scene with the
no!
the spider,
Oh,
because it's so
You're gonna have
long.
to be more specific. Yeah.
No, the
the
very
spider
first
has-
one, the
is, like, the
very
star of
first
this
time,
movie.
because they find the spider on his like walking. He goes with his son on a boat trip,
Oh yeah.
and then that's
The
the first
spider
time he
chases him.
learns that
Mhm.
the kid can speak English,
Mhm.
and they're having like the little moment, and he sees the spider on his like the kid's chest, and he freaks the fuck out, and then the spider just like keeps like trying to
oh,
get
if you
to
scream,
him.
like it will.
But
Choo
that's-
Choo will attack you, and if you're
Choo Choo,
calm.
yes.
Is that the, I don't know what the name of the spider is.
They
It's
keep
something
calling
like
it Choo
that.
Choo or something like that.
Well, why do you
Oh,
guys
that
think
girl.
that this movie was so memorable for a lot of people? Was it Tim Allen? Like, if you replaced Tim Allen, would this not have been as memorable, or do you think it was just? That's kind of what I was leaning
Tim
towards.
Allen was a very good actor at the time. Like, he really
Yeah.
nailed it.
And also, I would say that this movie has a lot of things that kids would find it fun.
Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah.
watching the movie, and the movie is not like, as you said, it's very formulaic.
Right.
It's very simple. Like they
Mhm.
don't really try
The plot-
anything hard.
Right. It's kind of just like the story is like this kid, and he's in New York City and kind of running
Yes.
wild. And
Yes, and he's just like doing all these like crazy fun, like
It's all
crazy
gags.
stuff.
It's all
Yes, they're all
gags.
stuff. Like
gags.
he's climbing out of like buildings, and he's just
And
like
he's shooting pigeons for
yes.
lunch. And,
But do you think that that's why it's so memorable?
Well, the reason why I watched it over and over again as a kid or anytime it was on TV is just because I thought it was funny.
What now? Were there parts like? Can I like what? Give me some examples here.
I love when the spider crawls on the guy's head.
the Russian guy, the
Yeah,
Russian
yeah.
mobsters who
Yeah.
come in at the end of this
oh,
movie.
the third act of this movie just takes a weird turn.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
We'll
almost
get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I like being a young boy. I thought the female
I thought the same
was-
thing.
was
I remember
pretty.
that. Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, yeah.
and she's
Yeah,
a
the
famous
girl?
she's
Lily
a-
Sobieski.
Mini
Yeah.
Sobieski.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lily Sobieski.
Mini
So,
Helen
yeah.
Hunt.
Yeah, and I had like a crush on her when we
Yeah.
were watching
Uh-huh.
that movie.
What's her tribe? She gets a tribe name though.
Oh man,
I did not
She's
write
like
it
Jim
down.
Carrey.
Unikumi. I think it was like
Miyakumi.
yeah, Unikumi. or
water
something like that.
splashing somewhere.
Yeah,
I did
it was
think,
a very
like,
long name.
I could see why it's like funny, like when I always remember the kid roasting the fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny.
But I didn't like
the
realize
indoor
why
pond.
people freaked out. I thought they were like I don't know. I was like, oh, it's just fish.
well, they're very
Like,
expensive.
Yeah, I didn't
$1,000
realize that when
group
I
of
was a
fish.
kid. Yeah,
They're very expensive fish.
and then Martin Short's great. Also, the mom and that Martin Short's wife, like
She's
the
pretty
redhead.
funny. She's
she's
adorable.
great. Yeah.
And it really encapsulates the '90s.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about it is in the '90s.
I think you're right. But he's just like the Wall Street tycoon kind of guy. Like that to me seems very. Even though it's like '80s, '90s, but that, yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, the movie is also a little bit racist in a lot of moments.
But it tiptoes.
Yes, it tiptoes, and like because they are not afraid to just because he gets into the taxi with the Indian driver.
I laughed at that.
And he
line.
just says, like, "Oh, well, it will be amazing if he can speak English," because like the kid
Well, the
thinks
kid's
it's
like,
amazing.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
He's
because
like,
it's
"Oh,
magic. And then he
amazing.
just like
He
waves
speaks
the
English."
arm, and so they have like these little moments. They're
Right.
really funny. Also, that kid probably got a lot of diseases from running in New York City, butt ass naked. Because let's be honest,
That
he's
kid-
naked.
That kid is also in Detroit Rock City, which is a great movie.
Oh,
if you guys
wow.
haven't seen that, and
Yeah.
I think he's in Not Another Teen Movie.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is in that. Yes.
Yeah. I wish we had a girl on here because
yeah.
I want to know if like that kid was like,
I was
a cute kid.
I was talking to this girl about the podcast, and I said that we're doing Jungle to Jungle, and she said that she did had a crush on the kid.
Okay. All right.
Can you imagine
That-
if it
There
was
you
she
go.
speaks for all
this
women.
movie was sold on sex appeal. And that's why it's so
Because I mean, this kid is running with a loincloth
Right.
for the whole movie.
Yeah. He's,
Oh, there is a
around
dick
it.
joke too.
There's many dick jokes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Well,
it.
he has to be because Tim Allen's gonna get his tribe name. He's like, oh, I want to be like man who's
Well
very-
endowed.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
yeah.
well
Very well
endowed.
endowed.
It's that guy over there. There's also the Bushi Bushi joke, where
Oh yeah, right. He lifts up the bed sheet
Yeah.
for Tim Allen's fiance, and he's like, "Oh, you have a nice bushy bushy."
and she's like,
and
no
she, like,
more
freaks
Bushi
out, and
Bushi.
it's like-
Oh, that's the
real
last time
weird.
you see a bushy.
Because I was like, is he talking about her ass or her? Like,
I think
or her
it's the
bush?
ass. I would say
I was
it's
thinking.
the ass.
Oh man, I don't know.
Oh, you have a nice like bushy bushy.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Because he goes into
Okay,
her
bush.
and she's sleeping in this bed, and he just decides to lift up the
Yeah.
sheet.
Which
and look at
again is
her.
a thing that Star Kid also had like the weird like sex things with like the
are just,
kids.
like, looking at it.
And
like,
Blank Check also that we'll talk about it
Mhm.
also
Oh,
has
yeah.
weird sexual things with adults and kids. I think it's
spoiler
a
for
trend.
upcoming episode.
I think it's a trend in this '90s
Oh,
movies.
for sure.
Oh, lots of like Home Alone had a Playboy. It's like little things like that because it's well, it rings true.
Oh yeah, but like these ones are not. It's not kids watching.
Nah, that's the adult
They-
for dad.
it's
Kids don't
involved,
Even what
it's
well
involved.
endowed mean.
No, it's not even that. It's like the kid with the.
Well,
wa-
I
the
guess
woman.
if you got to think that, like, I mean, these really are family movies. Like, you're
Yeah.
expected. I guess I've been in the mindset that these are for children, but no, it's for families too. So I guess
Butts are
yeah.
funny.
Butts are funny to everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
Tim Allen's wife, her name is Patricia Cromwell, who isn't that an author? Isn't Patricia Cromwell like a mystery novelist?
Not sure.
I don't know.
Can't say.
Because she also is kind of bitch.
She is not helpful at all,
No.
and is completely
Yeah.
unreasonable the entire time.
I also agree with that.
He gets
I
there, and
think
she's like,
very
"Oh, you have a
amazing.
son," and then he immediately is like, "What the fuck?"
Well, the-
She's like, "Well, don't get mad." He's like, "Well, I like this kid has existed for
Yeah, you could have
30
told me
years.
for it.
But,
Yeah.
but she was always like that, and so was he.
Yes.
So,
So, like
like-
both of them are wrong.
Yeah.
Which the movie, I guess, like in the end, like Tim Allen addresses that fact.
But then she's also
And then
like, "Oh
one
yeah,
else-
take him to like you promised him, didn't you?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, but I didn't mean like tomorrow."
Yeah, I
So,
also
well, you
do
said you
think-
would, so you gotta take him. It's like, like this child has been raised in the jungle his entire life. That's all he knows, and like you want him to go with his father, who he's just met, to New York City. And also, he takes
Something
a bow
shady
and
there,
arrow
Mom.
like on an airplane,
Yeah.
and a
She
blow
just wants to get
dart,
rid of
and a
this kid.
tarantula. All on this is
Oh,
all
also
pre-
it's
Yeah,
9/11.
could you
all
imagine-
pre 9/11.
Could you
9/11.
imagine like
The blow darts
putting
and the-
putting a spider through like security? Sir, what is in this container?
Oh, and it's not even in like a pet container. It's just in, like
No, it's in, like, a
wooden
bowl.
Yeah, that's it. That's where it lives.
And he also just like pees on the door of the
Yeah.
airplane,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which I thought was really funny actually.
It was a magical time.
It's,
before
you could do
the-
anything on planes.
George Clooney.
Anything.
And then his dad died in 9/11.
The dad wasn't there. I don't think the dad would be there.
What's that movie where
Remember Me.
Remember Me? You already know what it
Remember
is.
Me. Yeah, the movie ends with like the camera just pulls out of it, and you realize that they're 9/11, and then and the film cuts to, and there's a calendar that says 9/11, and then it comes out. You see that they're in the war.
Before that, you have like no.
No,
idea
they never
that this is
hint.
coming. Yeah.
No, they never hint, and then you just realize that these people are dead.
There's a part that I like where I think Tim Allen picks up the blowgun and shoots it and it bounces off of all sorts
And
of stuff
he
and
gets the cat.
shoots the cat.
The cat
that was
guy
my favorite part.
was really funny because
Yeah.
he's holding it and it's just limp.
Yeah.
He's going, oh, no.
Because I also thought it was funny that whenever the kid sees the cat, the first thing that he imagines is that he wants to eat that cat.
Right, yeah.
And I thought it was great.
Oh, so all right.
He tells
so
him
I
like
guess-
3 times, like, don't eat the cat.
Yes,
don't
he
leave him
does
alone
say-
with the cat.
All right, so obviously he's now in New York City at this point, and
Yes.
he's kind of making a mockery of his dad's kind of upscale.
But what is
New
the?
York
Why
lifestyle.
is he in New York?
Because
Because
his dad told him he could go with him.
No, the
there's a
Indian.
quest.
Yes, because they do.
the
Yes.
fire from the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
The
kid-
right,
the
fire
yeah.
back to his
He's
tribe.
supposed to bring the fire from
Although
the
why
Statue
his
of
tribe
Liberty.
knows about the Statue of Liberty, I
Well,
don't.
because of the mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
And yes, he
amulet
has
thing.
he has like the amulet.
Oh right, he has a
He
necklace.
has a necklace with the Statue of Liberty.
So he's in New York and he's been climbing on buildings.
That's
and,
his goal is to get that. Is to get that fire.
Yes,
Yes.
his plan, and that's the only reason he went to New York City is to go to Statue of Liberty and
Right.
get the fire.
And chill with Baboon.
and
Yes.
Baboon. Yes, he
No.
does call Tim Allen Baboon.
That's Tim Allen. That's what his tribe name becomes. Is Baboon.
It is exactly what he means, a monkey.
Well, let's get to the Russians.
Oh.
So they buy coffee.
They're
okay,
stocked.
hold on.
Oh yeah, they're
hold
stuck.
on,
They're
that's-
stuck.
So they buy coffee. So two Wall Street guys walk into a bar.
and buy 56 pounds or 5,600 pounds of coffee.
Of coffee.
Like there's almost no plot in this movie until like almost the third act, and then there are Russian mobsters involved.
That's a climax.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
Well, there is because it depends on who you want to say like this movie's because like, the movie opens with the kid.
There isn't really a time when Tim Allen is like, fuck this kid, you're going back to. Like I was
He's
almost
always
expecting
kind
that.
of patient with him.
Yeah, he's always like
He
a
is.
pretty good.
He
There's
tries
never really
very
been
hard.
much of a conflict between them.
No, he tries very hard.
Yes.
He just never goes to the Statue of Liberty with him.
Yes,
Uh,
but
which also
I
that
feel
kid
like it's
climbing the Statue of
understandable.
Liberty is that thing is just metal. There's really
Yeah,
no
it's
way to
gonna-
really
It's gonna be
climb
hard to
it.
get out there.
You told that to
Excellent
Mimi
CG.
Cuckoo because
I needed Cinco.
I think you're talking about Mitsubishi.
It's Mitsubishi.
So they're trying to get rid of all this coffee because they bought a bunch of stock in coffee.
And now the price is dropping.
Yeah,
and they're
and
losing millions
Martin
of dollars.
Short and Tim Allen
Because
go
they didn't sell it
and-
when they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
He forgot to hit confirm.
Yes.
Because they had internet briefly.
Yes.
the satellite
in
internet in
Venezuela.
1996.
Venezuela in
his
1996.
setup, which I was kind of like, oh, is there electricity in this tribe?
Because he
they had
makes a
lot of
joke
things.
about it too.
Does he?
Yes,
He
because like
says
he
where.
runs out of it and he's like, I bet there's
Oh,
nowhere
yeah, I
you
guess
can
that
plug
makes
this.
sense.
Which is exactly how long a battery would last.
Yeah.
It's
At
just
that
enough.
time.
It's like
Yeah,
Makes
to
sense.
just do that real quick thing.
Yeah.
What exactly happens with the Russians? They go to
So,
sell him. Then
Martin Short panics because their boss is pissed because they essentially lost $1 million.
Right.
So he's like, well,
If they're
that
losing,
happens. Like
yeah.
you're gonna cover it with your money, which isn't how that works. But
Yeah.
so Martin Short panics and finds a guy who runs a fish market, who is a Russian mobster, who is going to buy the stocks off them
to launder.
to launder. He gives them $1 million
Yeah.
in cash. It's
Right.
like dirty money, and
Yes.
then they're like, oh boy.
And their hope is to move that money into the market so they can get that money out.
Right. And Tim Allen
themselves.
says no, and then Martin Short does it because he panics and
Yes.
gets scared. And then they have $1 million, and then they go back and they're like, hey, we'll give you your $1 million back. Just give us back the price of
The coffee. Yeah.
Their what are they?
They're
It's
bonds.
shares or bonds?
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
their bonds.
However, the
Um,
Russians do think they're going to get screwed over because they're stock guys.
Yeah, and they,
Right.
because they know that the price is
The stock drops again,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, hey, we'll give you the money back. We'll take the stocks back." And they're like, well, "You're gonna lose money. Like, are you up to something?" They're like, "No, we swear." And then they do, and then it skyrockets
seems.
and becomes worth a bunch of money. And then they think they got ripped
Mhm.
off, so they come after them to get the bonds back, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And the money. So they want the $1 million back and the bonds back.
Yep. And then Mimisiku Well, then they go and tie up Martin Short's family.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, they go to Martin Short's
Because that's when
house.
the movie takes a weird turn
Yes.
and just changes
Because
completely.
they're
Becomes a
not
hostage situation.
they're not
He's
even
gonna
in New
cut
York
Martin
at that
Short's
point.
finger off in front of his family.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because for most of the movie, this is like just like about a dad trying to connect with his like strange son.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they're in the jungle of New York, and then they're in like a suburban house.
Yes.
They're a very
Yeah.
nice house.
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice house. Yes.
Yeah, the whole third act is just Martin Short's house and them being held hostage by Russian mobsters.
Yeah.
At
Yes.
gunpoint.
Yeah, and Mimisiku
Saves the day.
saves the day with
His
his
spider.
and
Blow
Loki-
darts.
And
yeah,
blow darts. Yes.
everything else.
Which I don't have a body count, but how many people fainted throughout the whole movie? Because how many like
You didn't keep a body count for Jungle to Jungle?
Well, I mean, during the fight scene, they all keep knocking each other out instead of like hitting the mobsters.
But he gets the cat.
And the
Well,
mother
he
and the
shoots-
kid.
Yeah.
The
He
mother
shoots the mom and the little
son.
boy.
his
Yeah.
boss at the end.
Then the girl
The boss in
hits
the
Martin
end.
Short in the head with
Right.
the plant.
He
They
pricks
all
himself.
knock each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he pricks himself. He falls asleep.
Also, that kid he's better than Daredevil to hit or Bullseye in those movies.
Hey,
Like,
he's shooting flies out of the air.
he's shooting
Yeah.
flies out of the
Blow
air
dart.
from like
Oh,
yards
and,
away.
And
Well,
that
Yard
kind of
doesn't
ties it. Well, then
Venezuela.
Tim Allen does it.
There is a tie to it.
That's when he'll be a real. What's the name of their tribe?
I forgot. the name.
Zuzuwawe. Like he'll be a real Zuzuwawe if you.
Yeah, he will
once
become
you
part
shoot
of the
a fly.
tribe if you can do
Shoot,
that shot,
yeah.
which he does.
He does, and then
Knocks
it
his
knocks
dad
his,
out,
his
his
boss
boss
out. Yeah,
Uh,
and then the end.
well,
That's it. Thank you for joining.
In a nutshell, that's more or less Jungle to Jungle.
Well, then at the end, he realizes that his life is not all about money, and that family's more
Yeah.
important. And
Yes.
and they allude that he might re-hook up with his ex-wife.
Yeah, because he leaves
Yeah.
his fiance because she's a
she's
bitch.
a bitch.
She's
Yeah.
never
And
you
she-
never like her ever in
No.
the movie. She's
Not supposed to
always
be
just
like
Her or
awful.
anyone around her.
Yeah,
And
they're
she's-
All those
terrible.
people are awful.
The most
Mhm.
'90s man ever is that videographer.
Yeah.
Because he's what, Swedish? Or
I wish I could remember
He
his
works
name.
for the fashion channel. They're like, wait, there's a
Pivot.
fashion channel.
yeah,
He looks like Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
he
Yeah.
does a little
Yeah.
bit, yes. But he has like a weird.
And he's wearing like
he
the
keeps-
same outfit, like a
he-
leather jacket and like
he-
black
yeah, he
pants.
keeps-
Yeah, doing that like the frame thing with the hand.
Because they also invite the other woman.
snaps and points a lot.
Everyone that's around his like new wife is just complete ass.
Because she's in fashion.
Fashion.
She okay.
Yeah.
She's
But
a
is she a
designer.
designer?
Or
I thought she was a
model.
fashion designer.
I thought she was
Yeah.
a fashion designer too.
Oh, okay. Doesn't
But then
matter.
she was also getting someone else to design her wedding dress, which
Yeah.
was just weird. Because they have the scene with the dinner that those people are supposed
There
to
was a lot of montages in this movie.
There were.
Oh, there's a
Yeah.
montage with Shaggy playing. Which
Yes, there is.
Great.
Yes, there is.
Which Shaggy song?
I actually know it's not wasn't me. So
No, I don't
Was it
think it's-
Angel?
no.
No, I don't
Then
think
I'm
it's-
out.
I think
Oh,
was it Mr.
Shaggy song.
Bombastic?
Life has one big party when you're still young.
Yeah.
Because they have like one montage with Shaggy, and I feel like this movie is awesome. Whenever they had this, it was great.
My favorite line was when the cat is knocked out. He hits the cat with the dart. He's like, trying to hide it from his fiance,
He just
and
tosses
he
it
just
out.
throws it. He's like, "Oh, he's so fast! Like, he's like so fast."
Because also Mimisiku is a player. Because like the first time that he says a quote to Tim Allen that he's just like, "There's so many women in your village. Why would you only pick one?" And I was like,
yeah.
"This kid
He knows.
fucks.
This kid fucks.
This kid fucks."
Also, piranhas eat Tim Allen's shirt at one point in this
Uh-huh,
movie, and I was like,
yeah.
"That's not how piranhas work."
No, because as soon as anything touches the water, those
Yeah,
piranhas
anything goes in the water,
jump on
piranhas
it.
just eat it
Well, how about the girl
immediately.
jumps out of the boat to Mimi?
And no
And I was like,
piranhas.
No, oh, you shouldn't do that.
I was like, "Hey, I have seen that there are piranhas in here that are hungry and crocodiles. They are both in this water.
Oh,
You are
yeah.
in the Amazon.
there's a crocodile.
You should not jump out of
Huge
your fucking
crocodile.
boat.
When he's like, "Oh, the spider won't hurt you," but like he will, and then there's a crocodile behind Tim Allen.
And the kid is so chill about it. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's a crocodile right
Oh,
there.
a snake was just like
Very cool with
they're
that.
walking in the jungle and it's just like and he's like and just hits it with the blow dart and then they eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
It's
wow, that's
badass.
Oh, because after the kid eats Martin Short's fish, he goes to just a different pond
That's great.
and hen
Replaces
fishes.
his fish.
Hen fishes like a bunch of little.
Bass and stuff.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, this is supposed to make me feel better. And there's these big ass fish floating in his thing. That was
Which-
really good.
It was really funny. Because also how he just bonds with Lily Sobieski in his a very cutesy scene between
Yeah, oh,
those
yeah.
two.
He teaches her how to fish with her hands.
Yeah, and then that's
Very
when he-
ghost. Like if you.
Yeah, because he's like leaning over
Yeah.
her and like.
Oh, because then Martin Short also just like freaks out because like he thinks that the kid is putting moves on his daughter, and the daughter's just like, "No, I was making the moves on him." It's like,
You go to camp.
Yeah, all girls camp.
And the brother's just like that little '90s asshole brother.
Yeah.
Yes, he's an asshole.
And
Which
he's
is like,
kind of really funny though.
he is.
We'll smoke her out. What? I'll get the matches.
Yeah. Open this door. I'm gonna have Andrew smoke you out. Sweet. I'm kidding.
He is pretty great.
We'll smoke her out.
Yeah.
Dad, what does he say? He's like, Dad, can I have Amy's room? She's like, my name is like Makokiku now. And he's like, can I have Makokiku?
He's solid. The casting in the movie is pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I definitely liked
No,
pretty much everyone in that.
they also worked together in the Santa Claus 3, I believe. with
Martin Short and Tim Allen.
And this
yeah.
is also,
Oh, yeah.
and this is the director also did the first
Santa Claus, but not the.
I don't think.
the
I don't
top
think.
he,
third
he did Home Improvement too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that other Last Man Standing.
Yes,
He's worked
he
with
did.
Tim Allen a lot. Too.
Yeah, he did.
He probably does a lot of coke with Tim Allen. Sweet, sweet '90s coke.
Well, when you find the right spot, you gotta just go for it. It's perfect.
I don't have much else to say. I will say this, that I wasn't sure about how I felt after watching this movie. Like, a lot of the time I'll watch a movie and then I'll kind of sleep on it and kind of get an impression like the next day. But this, I thought it held up fine, but I just don't know if I personally like felt whatever about this movie. But I think after talking about it with you guys, I feel like you guys have reminded me more of the funny parts. that I
It's
kind of
really
forgot about.
entertaining.
It's light.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining.
Yeah, it's a fun. Like, it's a movie that you'd go to with your dad, and your dad would like it maybe
Yes.
more than you.
Yeah,
Like,
because like, there's a
Dad, if you're listening, let's watch Jungle to Jungle. I'd be
so
more than
dads,
happy.
yeah.
it's a
we
great
recommend
bonding.
this
It's
movie
probably
to
a great
dads.
bonding film
Sure.
to watch with your father.
Sure.
Because there's very little plot to this that's relevant.
Right.
Because again, like the third act is just
Yeah, most of
completely
it's just,
different.
it's just a fish out of water story.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
makes for funny
Yes.
circumstances.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And then there's Russian mobsters with
Then,
knives.
you know,
So
they had to
that they
you
cut
know, go
fingers
somewhere
of
with
people's
it.
eye.
So, Eric, does it hold up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I want to say that this holds up, and I do want to say that this is what I would say the pinnacle of the podcast would be. More movies like this. Family movies that not only hold up, but...
so I thought of another one after watching this
Yeah.
movie because it's A Simple Wish. I know I told you
I've
these
seen
two
that
boners
movie.
about it. He's seen it.
I've seen
it's
it.
Martin Short and the girl from Matilda.
sounds very 90s.
And Martin Short is her fairy godmother.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's I added it to the list. It's going to be coming up.
I'm always
soon.
in for Martin Short.
It-
Yeah,
It's-
definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say it holds up, and I would say this is a perfect example of why we do this podcast. I loved it as a kid. I still love it now, and I will watch it any other day of the week. I do like this movie.
Yeah, I never seen this movie before, so like this is the first time, and it was very entertaining. Like I really laughed. I thought that they did some really clever jokes with it, and I think it holds up too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really.
Oh
holds
yeah,
up.
definitely a lot of the jokes were like
They land.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're very simple and they land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing glaring about this movie that's bad. It's fine. It's simple. It's sweet. It's not poorly made. It's well made.
Right.
Yeah, the jokes land. It's funny.
Martin Short's great.
Mhm.
Like, there's
Probably
nothing.
the best part of the movie.
Yeah, and there's
Him and
no
his
like
family.
bad CGI or anything like that. Like the
Mhm.
movie is,
Right.
it's well put
There's going to be a
together.
lot
There's
of
nothing
bad
wrong with it.
CGI in A Simple Wish. I watched the trailer today. and
Oh,
it's
I
full
feel
of
like we
it.
have a lot of ugly '90s CGI to look forward to.
There'll be some interesting stuff coming up.
That's it, guys. I don't know what else to
Yeah,
say.
I
I think
think-
we did
I
it.
think that's
Yeah,
it. This is
just,
Jungle to Jungle.
watch it.
Machu Picchu.
Watch
Yep.
it and let us know what you think.
You want to sign us off, Lou?
Yes. So,
Do you want me to put some sweet echo on you? On your voice?
please do.
Say
Because now
something.
this is us saying good night and good luck.
Tim Allen.